This past Christmas season, I thought it'd be a good idea to sell print-on-demand ornaments in my existing 11,000 plus sales, 2,000 plus 5-star reviews Etsy shop that is not currently a print-on-demand Etsy shop. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Sam. I run a 6-figure Etsy shop from underneath my garage. When I was gearing up for this past holiday season, I thought I would try my hand at designing and selling a print-on-demand ornament. I was searching Etsy, using Everbee to try to sift out potential niches, and I came across the print-on-demand ornament niche, which just had a stupid amount of sales, really, and I thought that would be a good area to jump in as my first POD experiment and see how it goes. I created 3 separate ornament ideas, but each of those ideas had anywhere from 4 to 12 variations on them. So I ended up with a total of 36 new listings to start the holiday season, and of all 36, I got 1 to hit the Etsy algorithm and became a bestseller for us. In about a 30-day window, we grossed a little bit more than $2,200 in gross revenue from that 1 listing alone. However, that 1 listing has caused me more headaches this past holiday season than all 100 plus of my other listings combined over the course of the last 4 years. Stick with me, and I'm going to share my top 5 mistakes that I experienced this holiday season as I started down my print-on-demand journey. Hopefully you can learn from these mistakes and avoid them as you start your print-on-demand journey. The first mistake I made, I actually didn't know was a mistake until I already sold a bunch of ornaments. I knew my design had to fit on the 3-inch ornament and that ornament had a border or bleed area that the design had to fit within. What I didn't know is that Printify had size recommendations for each individual element of your design, and if any one element was too small, it could cause your print to become blurry and unreadable. Looking back, this does make a lot of sense now, because while my design looked like this with lots of small details, a lot of the other best-selling ornaments in this category looked like this. Clearly, those sellers knew the trick about the minimum size requirements of the individual elements that I did not. Like I said, I didn't know this was a mistake until after I sold a bunch of the ornaments. People loved my design. I had no problem getting sales. However, it became clear that there was a flaw in my design once the ornaments started to get delivered and the reviews started to come in. Our second mistake is more of a umbrella mistake that mistakes 3, 4, and 5 all fall within. That umbrella mistake was not creating a separate Etsy shop just for my print-on-demand products. I thought it'd be a good idea to use my existing Etsy store and try to leverage my 11,000 plus sales and my 2,000 plus 5-star reviews in an effort to build that trust with the buyer when they stumbled across my new print-on-demand listing. That strategy I believed worked, and we did build that trust. However, the headaches that were caused by selling our print-on-demand products right next to our products we manufacture here in-house was not worth it. Mistake number 3 was free shipping. Currently in my store, if a customer buys $35 or more worth of goods at any one time, their order qualifies for free shipping. Let's break down my revenue and cost for each ornament, because it's important to understand the math so that you can understand why offering free shipping was such a big problem for us. After all of our promos and sales, we essentially were selling each ornament for $9, and then we were charging the buyer $6 for shipping, making our gross revenue on a 1 ornament order $15. That same ornament on Printify was costing us about $4.50 to produce, and then about $5.89 to ship it. So when a person bought 1 ornament, we were making about $4.61 on that order. The problem came though when people ordered multiple ornaments. It only took a customer purchasing 4 ornaments to then qualify that order for free shipping. So when a person placed a 4 ornament order, my revenue from Etsy was $36. However, my cost on Shopify was $4.50 per ornament, plus my $5.89 initial shipping charge, plus then $1 for every extra ornament. This made my cost $27 on that $36 order, leaving my net profit at just $2.25 per ornament. Not so good. That wasn't even the biggest issue though with offering free shipping. We'll call this mistake 3.2, but the bigger problem actually came when they would place an order and they would order 1 or 2 print-on-demand products, but they'd also order products that we manufacture in-house here and that we ship locally. In those scenarios, the buyer was still getting free shipping, but we were actually getting hit with shipping charges twice. We had to pay Printify their shipping charge to send the print-on-demand ornaments, but then we also had to ship out the other half of their order here and get hit with our own local shipping charges. Depending on what they ordered, there was potential that we could have made no money on that sale, or even worse, we could have actually lost money. All right, piggybacking on mistake 3.2, brings us to mistake 4. Because we were getting orders that contained both print-on-demand items and our non-print-on-demand items, it meant that there was 2 packages being sent out to the buyer. These packages would never arrive at the same time, which meant we constantly got messages from customers saying only half of their order arrived. In the end, it wasn't the biggest deal, but it was extra admin time that we had to spend messaging these people back and explaining what happened and that their second half of the order was in transit and that they would arrive to them shortly. Our 5th issue, once again, revolves around this idea of our orders containing both print-on-demand products and non-print-on-demand products. If you're not familiar with how Printify works, you link your Printify account with your Etsy account. It allows Printify to then pull in your print-on-demand orders, manufacture them, and when they ship them out, it actually marks the item as shipped on Etsy and lets the buyer know that their order is on their way. Some of the items that we sell that are not print on demand though do have relatively long lead times, at least longer than the actual print on demand ornaments were. Because of this, when we got orders that had both print on demand and non-print on demand items, if that non-print on demand item was one of our longer lead time items, Printify could actually manufacture the ornament and send it out, marking the order as shipped before our non-printed on demand item got manufactured and sent out. Internally, we use the Etsy order page as our queue system to determine the order at which we manufacture our products. So on those few occasions when Printify was ahead of the game, when they got the ornament sent out right away, it removed that order from our queue essentially. So there was a handful of times when orders went out with their ornament, they message us saying, I only received half of their order, and we never actually even produced the other half of their order because it was pulled out of our queue. This caused a bunch of headaches for us internally because once an Etsy order moves out of the Etsy order page, you can't put it back. So we were having to come up with different ways to track these orders and make sure they got into production so that those buyers got the other half of their order. In the end, all of these mistakes or issues, whatever you want to call them, roll up to one thing. If you're going to start a print-on-demand business on Etsy, make sure you do it in a new shop and not an existing Etsy store. I know that might not be new advice, but hopefully my real-world examples of doing it the other way is helpful to those of you with existing Etsy shop who are thinking about diving into the print-on-demand space. Overall, our past holiday season was a great success, and in the months of November and December, we grossed over $40,000 revenue from Etsy alone. Running optimized Etsy ads was a big part of that success. If you're interested in hearing my strategy for optimizing your Etsy ads, you're going to want to check out this video here. Go ahead, click it. I'll see you over there.